on in the room. Come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight. 129-117. Come on in the room. We can say it, right? We can say it. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all of our scriptures. He gives us our medicine in our room. Doc Rivers, finally, was he 1-2 now? Gets off the schneid. The Bucks win it 129-117 after going down 25 in the first half to the Dallas Mavericks. They beat down former Bucks head coach Jason Kidd 129-117. We are live at the Cream City Crossovers. The Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris King.
Yeah. We all in the building tonight, baby. 129-117. We got a lot to talk about. People from Twitter hate you. Hey, JT, you know every single night. I mean, not every night, but you know all the time we got to do the Twitter thing, and people want to fight. And you know me, I'm in these tweets and I'm in these streets. And so we want to fight on Twitter. Hey, line them up one by one. We can catch these fades. The Bucks win it 129-117. A fun one tonight, the Cream City Crossover. You can add me at TCIIIESQ. And then you can also, we'll get it on the YouTube comments as well. I believe you can also tweet directly into the Twitter now. So I might look at the stream and see what comes up. But first, as always, we have to do our game recap. And the game recap, as always, sponsored every night by the law office of Daley M. Johnson. When you need defense,
off the court.
And the Bucks now under Doc Rivers are playing a little defense on the court as well. But the law office of Daley M. Johnson give you criminal defense, traffic, and OWI defense, temporary restraining orders and injunctions. It's the law office of Daley M. Johnson, Service Central and South Central Wisconsin, 608-893-8370, or go to his website. That's Siete Cero for our Spanish listeners. Or you can go, it's zero, right? That's zero.
Yeah,
It's zero.
you're right.
Yeah, okay.
Hey man, look, I just gotta ask you this question, though, right? Like I gotta ask this question.
What's
like,
up?
do you lean all the way into the accent when you speak in other languages, or do you just try to
mean?
go ahead and just stay, know your limits on that?
Hola, ¿cómo está? What you mean?
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know, like, how,
Well,
especially when you speak in other languages, like how deep you get into it with the accents and everything else, and if you're nice with it or not, right? Because sometimes.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. He don't speak no other language.
Yeah, I hear
He don't speak no other language. He might know a
Yeah,
couple
I
words.
can do it. Hey, oui. You know what I'm saying? I get into all that. You know what I'm saying?
All right. See,
Yeah.
They tell you to leave in France, wherever you at. You start all that mess, they're going to get out.
Yeah.
No, but I just wanted to ask that question in general, because a lot of times people will speak different, or they'll show that they can speak different languages, but then when they try to get too into it,
they just sound
a little bit shaky. And I wonder how that sounds to natives, right? I wonder how that sounds to natives, like people, like native speakers who are like, yo, did this dude really just say this? Like, why is he doing this, right? Like, basically what I'm saying is, it's like the shower effect. Sometimes it sounds better to you than it does to the native speaker. And you think you're doing something, and the native speaker's like, this guy right here is something else. That's
right. Well, I go to the islands. I say, hey, man. That's what I do.
Hey, is that a Cosby Show reference?
I don't know.
Hey, you wildin', bro. Oh, wow.
Hey, I'm on that Stella Rosa tonight, baby. I gotta get Daly's website, www.dmjlaw.com. Get at Daily 100%, man. Good times. Bucks winning 129-117. Let's do a game recap. Giannis, 48-10-6. Doc Rivers did a thing tonight that I used to see Jason Kidd do. Bud didn't really do it, and I guess Adrian was only here for 43 games, so I want to count him. But Mike Budenholzer let Giannis kind of do whatever he wanted to do. Jason Kidd would stop Giannis, and tonight Doc Rivers, Giannis had 47. Do you remember? He had 47, and he launched a three. And Giannis is very aware all the time of his numbers. Like I said, he has changed as a superstar. You could tell he wanted the 50, and Doc took him out again. The Bucks play tomorrow night. He's already played 40 minutes, so maybe that was a factor into it. But 48-10-6. Giannis also had 5 steals, so I bet you there's going to be some stats that come out about what they call it, 4x5 games, where you have 4 stats in the 5 categories. But 48, 6 boards, 10 assists, 5 steals, 1 block, 2 of 5 from 3. So he didn't shoot it horribly there with 60% from the line as well. A plus 15. Chris Middleton with 13 and 8 and 3. Good night from him. Robin Lopez started the game, had 2 points. That was weird. I didn't understand that. Malik Beasley with 9 points and 7 boards. And Damian Lillard Man of the hour, 38 and 30 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds tonight. He was 10 for 11 from the field. So aggressiveness, I'd still like to see more from him, especially when you're cooking and you shoot 90% from the field. But I can't complain with Damian Lillard tonight. He puts up 30 points. He goes 5 for 5 from threes, 5 for 6 from the line. He did have 6 turnovers, but when you put up 30 points on 11 shots, I can handle some turnovers. Jay Crowder with 8 points. Bobby Portis went 12 and 10. Salvaged a decent night. Was 4-10 from the field. Played 30 minutes with no Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez, I believe he and his, I don't know if his wife or fiance or his significant other, they did have a child, is what I'm being told. Pat Connaughton put up 2 points and nothing from campaign. AJ Green actually had some really good minutes. He had 5 points in 6 minutes. He was a plus 16. Was really big and instrumental in that comeback with about 4 minutes to go in the first half. On the other side, some big numbers. Again, what do we say, Chris? When you're on DraftKings, you're on Prize Picks, what you got to do with them guards?
You got to take the over, baby. Hammer the over. No defense.
Hammer him. And the crazy thing is Luka's line tonight, Prize Picks, was like 38.5 points. That's an insane line. He puts up 40. 40, 11, and 9 from Luka. He was 13 and 26 from the field, 4 for 12 from 3. Really good night for him. Jaden Green with 20 points and 20 points, 9 boards, 3 assists. Maxi Kleber killed the Bucks tonight from 3, especially early with 21 points. Grant Williams was as bad as I've ever seen Grant Williams with 2 points, 5 rebounds. He was 1 of 6 from the field tonight. Derrick Jones Jr. had 8 points. And then Tim Hardaway had a really nice night tonight as well with 18 points. Dwight Powell and Jaden Hardy rounded things out. Bucks win it 129-117. Tonight was realistically, it was just a battle, right? It was a battle of 2 different teams. It was a battle of so many things that you had to combat. If you're, a Milwaukee Bucks fan and a Milwaukee Bucks team, you get down 25 points to start the first quarter. Basically, you're down 44-20 at the end of the first. Looked like one of those games. The offense was stagnant. The defense is giving up everything. I mean, the wheels were falling off, and then the Bucks responded very well with a 40-point second quarter, 33-point third, 36-point fourth. The Bucks did not let Dallas score 30 points again for the rest of the game in any of the quarters. That again, you ended the half on a 50. You were down 20. The Bucks were down like 20 with like 4 minutes to go. I remember tweeting out, I was like, hey, let's see what can happen if we can get to a good spot to get into the half, maybe down 15 or less, and give yourself a chance. And next thing you know, the Bucks absolutely went off the rails. 15-0 run, getting to the half, and then late into the third quarter, the Bucks really started to kind of take over a bit. Dallas got on a run and got themselves back into the game. Thing went nip tuck down to the last 4 or 5 minutes or so. But the difference tonight was 2 things. One, obviously, how good Damian Lillard played. And being a second complimentary star to Giannis. Again, when we talked about that third, Dame needs to be pushing 30 every night. And then you're gonna have those nights where Giannis is pushing 50. And so you get 30 from your number 2, you get 48 from your number 1. Like that's what we wanted to see when we paired Giannis and Dame Lillard together. 40 minutes tonight for Giannis. You could tell Doc really wanted this win. The Mavericks were shorthanded, no Kyrie Irving. You got to go get it. And so really good job from the Milwaukee Bucks tonight of fighting, battling through, and getting a win. JT, that's what I saw. What'd you see?
Yeah, same, 100% same thing, right? Like this was definitely a tale of 2 different teams. That first quarter, I think I texted you guys and said, "Oh man, this is looking shaky." Right? They came out. That was some of the worst basketball we've seen this team play all year. Again in this first quarter. Right? Having said that, you think about it, they found a way to certainly make up for that afterwards and kind of turn it on. Go back to that first quarter. Bucks were 2 for 9 from 3, right? And it was awful. Conversely, though, Dallas was 9 for 14. Now, some of those looks were wide open. Some of those looks is just it was an effort thing. It was like, listen, we're not even trying to contest this thing. We're just going to go ahead and hope they miss, right? That's the kind of defense, hope defense. That's a bad spot to be in. Quick observation. Robin Lopez, man, they literally, when they say he stopped by for a cup of coffee, he stopped by for a cup of coffee. He had a whopping total of 4 minutes, and it was, get him out of here. But really was impressed by that 15-0 run the last 2 minutes of that first half. I thought that was incredible, just the way they did it and getting a lot of different people involved. You had Beasley, you had Giannis, you had Dame, some others involved in that too. I love it. I love to see it. I love to see Dame. And you know what? I'm a momentum guy. Some people don't believe in that, but I love to see Dame hit that 3 at the end of the half too. Right? Like I 100% love to see Dame hit that 3 in the half. And for a couple reasons. One, he came out, at first quarter, he only had 2 shots, right? And so I started to say, okay, are the confidence issues here? What's going on, But also, like, I like to see Dame continue to do things that I think build confidence, build momentum, get him feeling good, because we talked about this. What we signed up for was Batman and Robin, right? I'm sorry, Batman and Superman is what we wanted, not Batman and Robin. And tonight, really impressed with Dame. Not so much because he puts up 30, but because he was super efficient with his shooting. He realized, okay, this isn't going to be a volume shooting night for me. All right. But you know what? I'm going to hit the shots that I take and go on 10 for 11. I mean, granted, I don't expect this to happen again this way, but 10 for 11, 5 for 5 from 3. Hey, man, you know what? Giannis was the guy that was going crazy tonight, right? Giannis was the guy who was getting buckets left and right for the squad. So you saw Dame say, all right, listen, I'm cool fading in the background. I'm cool making other things happen. Yes, I'm going to take my shots and I'm going to hit them. I'm knock them down. And great team win for this Bucks team. And thank goodness Doc gets his first win, because I was really worried if we fell to 0-3, how that would resonate with these players.
Really want to focus on that fourth quarter and how the Bucks were able to pull away. I mean, we know that this is a clutch Bucks team and they're top 5 in clutch rating or whatever that is. But I really thought that I saw some good minutes from Bobby after that -7 stretch that you talked about, Trey. He came in there and offensive rebound. He had some offensive rebounds. He was working on the low block, passing it out to Giannis. They were doing a good job of making sure he wasn't that black hole that we're normally used to. So I got to give credit where it's due. Bobby Portis played well. I saw some good minutes in the second half from Jay Crowder too. He didn't really settle for many threes. I thought he did a good job of attacking. When that's really where the Bucks were getting their points. They were getting inside and scoring on obviously the lack of talent down low for Dallas. So some good things that I saw in the second half too. And then I want to talk about also, I felt like this game could have even been worse. The Bucks could have even blew that out a little bit more in the second half, because they had some stupid mistakes. Like, I was seeing Dame get to the rim, and then all of a sudden at the last minute it looked like he didn't want to shoot. He threw it away. And I think Jay Crowder had a couple of – Giannis had a couple of those. So this could have been even worse, and I love to see that. Love to see the energy they came out with in the second half. Played really well. Love it. Good win.
This was a refreshing basketball game, fellas. I mean, this was what everybody wanted to see. This is what you love. JT, I did ask the question. You asked me on your T's and Q's this morning on 97 through the game. You asked me, or I think you said this is a must win for the Bucks, and we kind of talked about that. Now, Twitter disagreed. About 78% or so. We had a lot of votes that came in, because I asked the question. I want to know what everybody thought. Whether it was a must win. I didn't think it was necessarily a must win, but it's definitely one that you wanted bad. Like, I don't think there's any question about that. You play Utah tomorrow night. That's going to be another one you want bad. And again, tomorrow night is what's going to really tell me a lot about this basketball team, because you have to sustain these victories. And that loss to Portland was unacceptable. And to come back out tonight and do what you did, especially after starting off down 25, just so much. Again, I give a guy so much credit. And here's the thing. I had some early jabs at Doc Rivers for how the offense looked tonight, and how the defense looked as well. But I have to give Doc Rivers a ton of credit for his adjustments. And we talk about, it's one of the things that by far is probably one of the main things I look for when I'm talking about, what we need in a coach. I don't care if it's Adrian Griffin, if it's Doc Rivers, Steve Kerr, Kenny Ack, whoever it is. I want to see, are you going to adjust? Because that was the problem with Mike Budenholzer. He had a great system. Everything was fun and fine, but he would not adjust. And Doc Rivers, let's talk about some of the adjustments that he made tonight as the Bucks were down 25, and some of the things that he had to do to get this thing back in track. One thing you see from the offense now, a staple of the Bucks offense under Adrian Griffin was, and I don't know if I'm assuming it was him directing it. I don't know why this happened, but how many times, and you talked about it for a second there, Chris, dump down on Bobby Portis, and we're gonna let whatever happens happen. We're gonna give it to Bobby and get out the way. That is gone from this offense. Like, there are no more. We just dumping this thing down to Bobby and letting it work. And then the defense, as again, Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the NBA. I think he's an absolute superstar. I know people disagree, as to how far he can go, but I think he is a superstar and a guy that if you have him on your team, you have a chance to win a title. They got to get better in some different areas, and I think they will at some point. But Luka's young superstar in this league. Luka Doncic, what the Bucks did at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, especially after he cooked you for the majority of the game, he basically had a triple-double tonight, almost. The double teams, Doc Rivers sent doubles. So he did two things that were really good. I didn't understand the Chris Middleton on him for most of the game, and it didn't really work to me. But finally in that second half, and really for a lot of the second half, not just the fourth, they started doubling him. And there were a couple times where they missed the rotations to Maxi Kleber, and Maxi would hit those threes. But once they finally got, okay, we're going to double Luka Doncic, and we're going to close out hard on Maxi, and then somebody else has got to beat us. That worked. I mean, again, you just have to get, you don't have to have great defense throughout a basketball game. You need a couple possessions here, a couple possessions here. One pass was a throw to Grant Williams that Grant Williams, he then traveled. You just get the whole point. Let's get the ball out of Luka's hands. And then the other thing that Doc did, and I didn't like it as much, but it was more effective than put Chris on him, was in the fourth quarter, you saw Giannis take Luka one-on-one. And defensively, that helped some as well. I don't understand what these coaches' motives are by not playing Giannis on team's best players. I know he can get into some silly foul trouble, but in end-of-game situations, fourth quarters, if Giannis only has a couple fouls, you got to throw him on another team's best player that's cooking. And tonight, Doc Rivers, just those, it's slight things, it's subtle things. Just those couple things I thought worked really well for the Bucks. Doc did go to a 2-3 defense. The Mavs started out hot. I mean, I think a lot of them were open shots. But you're not going to show. I think the Mavs started off like 7 to 8 from 3 in the first quarter. You're not going to play like that all night. I mean, we've seen that happen to the Bucks in years past. But you make those adjustments. So again, I give a lot of credit tonight. Again, Giannis does his thing, Dame does his thing, but I give a lot of credit to the adjustments and how Doc Rivers worked this thing to make sure the Milwaukee Bucks came away victorious tonight. So a lot of credit and kudos to him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm glad you pointed out that adjustment that Giannis, of having Giannis on Luka, right? Personally, I don't think he can do that all game, but I think there are certainly periods where you can do that, right? Because you don't want to wear that man out, especially because on the perimeter. And I just love the fact that you have that versatility with Giannis and that he can do that and actually have an impact, even on some of the game's best shooters out there on the perimeter too. So, man, kudos to Doc Rivers. I got to give him something, right? I got to give him something for that adjustment. I got to give him something for getting his guys rallying around him after that disastrous first quarter. And we say it again. Tale of two teams. You saw one of the best offenses in history start clicking right in that second and after that first quarter, and you saw one of the worst performances you saw there in that first from this team. But I'm overall, hey, solid win, man. Let's give Doc some love. Last thing I do want to point out, because I didn't mention this, it's not that big of a deal, but our bench gave us 27 points tonight, right? And we may say, okay, well, 27 points to the bench isn't that impressive, but you know what? It's a lot more. It's impressive when you get in the teens consistently from that group. And then tonight, you know what I mean? You go ahead and you get a little bit closer to 30, and we outscored Dallas's bench. Which when's the last time we outscored somebody's bench? So, man,
well,
enjoy these vibes.
Well, Trey, you touched on it, and I think Green Ranger touched on it. One of our loyal listeners, he said that they were going to trim the fat off this offense, and tonight it looked exactly like that. When you had Giannis having it going all night, you saw guys pass up good shots to get the ball to Giannis and do what he does and make sure he was getting great shots and great looks in the paint. So I thought that was great, and I hope we're going to continue to see that. Hopefully, that's a recurring theme.
Let's get to some of these comments. Slayaway says, salute, fellas. Appreciate you. Dom White says, prayers to you, Trey, for the Twitter war you were in on Twitter before. Hey, man, I was in there fighting on Twitter. We'll talk about that in a second. So we'll hold that thought, but we will talk about it. Green Ranger also says, do you see my boy Dame now? Wasn't it refreshing to see Dame do the majority of the ball handling? Giannis still got to be the number one option on offense. Now, Green Ranger slightly 6 turnovers for Damian Lillard. I thought he was a little sloppy with the ball. Again, everything counteracted because Damian Lillard shot the ball so well. And I get he only took 11 shots, but you got some of those. I mean, just a lot of. He had 6 turnovers, and again, obviously, I'm picking hairs here, if you will, or splitting hairs, whatever you want to say. But Dame, I thought he had 6 turnovers. He probably had at least 3 or 4 more deflections that took place. The ball got out of bounds on him. And so the other thing that kills me, and it's not Dame's not the only one that does this. I hate when those guys, like, as they're going to the basket, like they just try to dump the ball off to Giannis. And like he's 7 feet. And I just never like when guards do that. You got a 7-footer and you throwing the ball at his knees to go pick it up. Man, let him give the ball to him either his chest or give it up high and let him go get the ball. So he did a couple of those, I think, led to a couple turnovers as well. D. Cole says our defense showed the ass tonight. Hey, yo.
Hey.
Maybe he's saying they showed their ass. I don't know what he's trying. Our defense showed the ass. When you say the ass, I like to say they showed that. Okay.
Hey, have him jump back in there and clarify his quote. We just want to make sure we read it the right way.
Decode 1, 2, 3. Tell me what you meant. He says our defense showed the ass tonight. Down 25 at one point. Doc didn't let us blink an eye. They fought. King of Kings says Giannis should be the 5-man. Callan Racine says Dame actually made some outlandish threes. K and A family says sometimes the game is simple. Stars need to play like stars, and ours did tonight. Also, no Brook out there. There may be a benefit to our defense. I'm not going to go that far with you and say that. And then Nick C says the team's playing better defense without Brook. I disagree with that. King of Kings says Bobby is a dog. And Malcolm Mackins says great game, Milwaukee. So good stuff again from the Bucks all the way around. They come back from down 25 and just find a way. And that's what this is about. Chop wood, carry water, find a way. Tonight was reminiscent of that Portland game from earlier in the season where I think they were down like more than 25, and they found a way to win. Now I think that was at home when that one took place. So again, I just saw just so much positive things, so many positive things that happen around this basketball team. And I'll ask you this question before we go into the Dame discourse. Do you think tonight can be a rallying point for the Bucks moving forward? Because there are so many games within a season, or at least let me rephrase. There are so many seasons where, as a team, you can think of maybe a game that changed the course of momentum and swept through and made a team feel a certain way. Maybe they didn't have it all together and things were a problem, and you're not liking the coaches and you're having all these issues and defensive problem. And then tonight, you get to, because it's always what they say, it's always darkest before the light comes. And could tonight have been when you got down 25 in the first quarter? If you let go of the rope there, I mean, you talk about some of the questions that are going to happen to you if that takes place. Could that bounce back tonight be the spark that sparks this team, gets them through to the deadline, and gets them through to the All-Star break, and propels them for this back half season run that the Bucks are going to go on if they want to compete for a championship?
So, I'll go first here. I'm gonna say yes, but not in the way you think, right?
Okay.
On a surface level, it's a win against the Mavericks without Kyrie, and okay, whatever, right? But when you dig a little bit deeper, this team has had 3 coaches in the last 2 weeks, right? They've had a coach fired in the middle of the season when they were second in the East, and yes, there were some things to clean up, but we've never seen a coach that damn successful get fired mid-season in their rookie year of being a coach. Like we've never seen that, right? We talked about Gar Hurd getting fired with the Wizards, and he was like 13-30 or maybe 13-40 back in 2001, right when Michael Jordan was hired as president of the Wizards. But we've never seen anything like this where a coach from a record perspective get fired like this, have these issues, these internal issues with this team. An interim coach gets named from his staff, and then they actually hire a new coach, in the same. I mean, this is absolute chaos. Any way you look at this last 2 weeks, right? So I look at this win as this is a momentum builder, because if you think about everything that's going on that this team's had to go through, right? It's like, hey, all right, so now the new guy's in, and we got to win under it, because we were 0-2 at first, and it looked a little bit shaky. I mean, granted, in the big scheme of things, was it, oh my gosh, the season's over? No, but it did look a little bit shaky under Doc, because then we were even asking, hey, this is a historic offense. Why do they look so terrible? How did he come in and slow the offense down? What's going on here, right? So I think this is a win, helps everybody buy in, everybody stay focused, everybody kind of get used to Doc. I mean, again, to be fair, I think they had their first practice together yesterday.
Yeah.
Did I read that?
That is correct. That's correct.
So it's good. And again, and here's what I will argue with you and everybody on Twitter. When you're a brand new coach with a team, if you don't have every game until you get that first win is a must win. I 100% would argue that. If you're a brand new coach with a new team, every game is a must win until you get at least that first win. Because if you start out 0-5, 0-4, that is just a problem. That's a lot of pressure. That creates a lot of tension with it, and that's not a spot you want to be in. So yes, every game until Doc got his first win was 100% a must win.
I'll go ahead and take the other side of this. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because I need to see some consistency from this team. If this was a loss, if they ended up not coming back and storming back and winning this one, there would have been plenty of questions. I mean, I think this show would be completely different if they start 0-3 in his tenure. So I need to see some consistency. And then also, when you talk about, I mean, obviously we touch on this at every show, it feels like, but the trade deadline's coming up, so there may not be this same exact squad there. So I'm going to have to see some more consistency. And down the line after the deadline, they got to be playing their best ball. So I can't really say that this is a big momentum builder because, look, we've had big momentum builders. You beat Boston by 40. And we asked the same question, oh, is this the turning point in the season? And then they end up going and dropping bad games. So it's like I can't say that this one in particular against the Mavericks without Derek Lively, without Kyrie Irving, that this one is a big momentum builder.
Again, those are good points, Chris. Again, but it's one of those things that you have to win this game just because those guys are out. So I agree with you. And John, just so you know, so it was 73% no, 27% yes on it's tonight and must win. Couple of the comments here at D Pappy P says changing head coaches is going to lead to short-term step backwards as they adjust to new schemes. Just unfortunate this is coming on a big stretch against top teams. And then at Bucks Time 515 said, come the F on. Some of you need to take a break, get therapy, something. He didn't like the fact that we were even asking whether it was a must win. And then Claudio Memphis though said not yet, and we know that Luka can win a game by himself. So I think the majority of people didn't seem to think that it was a must win, but again, 100% it was a good win that you needed. Again, lots of comments going back and forth. You guys are cutting up in the comment section tonight. John Hassel says AJ, talking about AJ Green is the sole reason why they won tonight. I won't go that far.
Larry Bird.
I won't go that far. But the minutes he played were very beneficial. I thought it was he did a really good job in the minutes that he played. And we talked about that at the beginning of the year, JT, when Larry Bird was coming in, he was struggling from three. Like when a guy like that comes to the basketball, that's what you're there for. He is like, we talked about this on RT's. He is the equivalent of the NBA's, or he's the equivalent of the NFL's Justin Tucker or a long snapper. You coming in the game to do one thing: kick the ball or snap or give me a good snap. If you don't do that, I'm gonna have a problem with what you do. And so I don't ask AJ Green. If somebody drove by AJ Green every single possession, I wouldn't have an issue with it. All I know is because anything else you do is a plus. Like if the kicker make a tackle on a special team, hey, I'm applauding. But if he misses it, I can't get mad because y'all should have got him. But when you get that three in the corner, pull it, hit it. I mean, you need to be hitting that at an insane clip. And so that's what AJ Green needs to do. That's what we bring him here to do. So I'm glad that we saw that tonight. The Bucks win it. It was a good win, a fun win. 129-117. I'm hearing that apparently Doc Rivers on the podium was saying that they introduced trapping or some of the trapping schemes that you saw tonight that we just talked about. They introduced that in their practice that you just talked about, John, that took place on Friday. So again, Doc Rivers he didn't have a training camp with this basketball team. We do have to be patient with him. I know, like I said, I've been ribbing in kind of some good-hearted fun, just in contrast to kind of what was happening to Adrian Griffin. But I do understand that it's going to take some time for Doc Rivers to put his stamp on his basketball team. And again, he's going to be judged the same way Adrian Griffin will be. And where's that? In the playoffs, with what happens in the playoffs, not so much what happens tonight or any nights moving forward. We want to do the Dame discourse now? We want to do that, or y'all got anything else you want to get to before we do that?
Might as well. Might as well.
I'll just sit back in my chair. I'm gonna just listen to.
Because I want to hear your perspective. Mm-hmm. So today, we talked about this little Twitter war I was in, and you guys in the comments, you tell me where I was out of bounds. Tell me where I was wrong, and I want to take 1 second to just to explain again. This is Twitter. You don't have a million characters. You get a little bit to do this. So I really don't. So I preface this by saying, number one, I didn't think it was very controversial. The take to me was not extremely controversial. That's my thought. Number two, it does require you to read for comprehension and understanding. If you just read, but again, I think we have people who read and they read headlines and they go with it. Or to me, people read this like newspaper editors and guys that run newspapers and run papers and try to sell magazines. and it's like, oh, I got one clip that I think I might like here. I'm gonna put that as the lead when that was never the actual lead. So there was an article that came out about Damian Lillard, right? And he's revealing he has a lot on his mind. He said, people say when I hoop, I ain't thinking about nothing, but I'm not 21. I got 3 kids. I'm tight with my family. I'm going through a divorce. So we talked, JT and Chris, we talked for a long time about the divorce and about the things that have been on his mind and the things that are going on. And we wondered and hypothesized whether, is this an issue for him? Is this why he's not playing as well as we think he should be? And there were a lot of different excuses. I'm not saying this is an excuse, but there were a lot of different excuses where, I'm not getting that people made for Dame. Like, I don't get the ball at a certain place. I don't have the ball in my hand enough. I'm not. What do you mean I'm not aggressive? He's not aggressive because Giannis is a ball hog. We heard like 5 different things as to why Dame wasn't playing the way we thought he should play. And again, including this thing about the marriage and the divorce. But we'd never really heard that piece from Dame himself, right? Like we kind of knew and thought we hadn't heard it. So this is the first time he's really come out and said it. So this is what I said, JT. Tell me what I'm wrong. I said when he says this, because he's saying, I'm thinking about it, it's all in my mind. I said, this is not good. So divorce, not good. None of what he just said. I don't have my kids with me. This is not good. Let's bring everything. This is not good. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Am I good? Am I good so far? That's not a good story. I don't like hearing that.
I don't see the issue.
Okay.
I don't see the issue yet.
Okay, no issue there. I said, I get what he's going through. There's my empathy. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of characters. I can only give you so much empathy here. Yep. I get what you're going through. I'm letting you know, hey, it's okay. Man, I totally understand all this problem. I said, but man, he's got to find a way to perform. You got any problem with that?
No issue. I still don't see a problem.
Okay. He's got to find a way to perform. Why? Because in everybody's job, right? And we talked about this a little bit, and I won't get into it, but I've seen people get fired who are going through the same thing. I'm telling you, this is not a lie. This just happened. I saw a person get terminated and dismissed from the job that they were doing, and their excuse or their reason for not advancing on their deliverables was, well, I'm going through a divorce and this is tough on me. That was what was said, and it's cool, but that was not an acceptable answer. He or she no longer was terminated, and they didn't make millions of dollars either. That's just how it happened. Okay, so then I said he's got to find a way to perform. Kobe was going through an entire trial out in Denver and went out and balled every night.
Yep.
Okay. Now again, I'll keep going. And then I said, got to tap into something, or the Bucks will need to explore sending him elsewhere in the offseason. So I'll just explain that second piece, and then I want to get your thoughts. What people tapped into was the Kobe and the trial that he was going through as a comparison to Dame and being in a divorce. That really wasn't the point of the tweet. So if I said that and that like made people and that buried the lead, I guess, because that was not my intent. My intent was just to say that on these two, right, they were both going through adversity. Now, if you get mad at the way I delivered that, that's on you. But my point there was just to say they were going through adversity. Whether you agree with the adversity that Kobe had or not, whether you believe it was self-inflicted or not, he went through adversity. Damian Lillard is going through adversity. Kobe Bryant was in the finals that year. Like that's all I'm saying is you got to find a way to tap into something to figure out how to make this work. And when I said that you had to explore, trade him in the offseason, I didn't say it as, I think people take that so literal. Like he's get him out of here. No, we say, JT, you went to law school. Words are important. I said you have to explore it. The Atlanta Hawks right now are exploring trade options with DeJounte Murray. Did you hear LeBron James? He was non-committal on whether he would opt into his new contract, into his option with the Lakers. He's exploring the possibility of maybe going somewhere else. He may end right back up in LA, but he's exploring the possibility. That's all it is. And I wouldn't say that just about Dame. I said it about Chris Middleton. If the Bucks don't win a championship this year, come damn close to it, I would explore Chris Middleton's on trades. I would explore Brook Lopez. Everybody but Giannis, and I'd ask Giannis if he was okay with his brother being traded. And if he was, I'd explore options on him too. And I'd explore firing Doc too if they don't do what they're supposed to do this year. The only person that would be safe for me is Giannis. That was the point of it. So somebody tell me where that was wrong. And again, I get that the comparison between but that I really wasn't comparing their actual fact to fact and litigating the differences. Like, I think people took it as if I was litigating the differences between going through a divorce and going through a sexual assault civil trial. That really wasn't the comparison. The comparison was just adversity. And again, Kobe, the Mamba mentality. That's what I'm just saying. You got to tap into something. Because somebody said, well, you could have used another example like Isaiah Thomas going, scoring 50 some points after his sister died. I could have, but there's no Isaiah Thomas mentality. There's no, what is it? There's no IT mentality. There's a Mamba mentality. That's what I'm trying to get to. You got to tap into it. That's it. What? Give me your thoughts there. That's all.
I mean, and you certainly could. I think so. I liken the Dame issue and the Kobe issue as both had two outstanding situations, both going through the courts, both unresolved, and they're just this cloud hanging over you here too. That's where I saw the difference there, right? The substance of the argument doesn't matter as much, right? Or I'm sorry, the details of what Kobe was dealing with and Dame was dealing with, that doesn't really matter as much, right? Because the substance of the argument is the same thing if you're going to argue that both had off the court issues that significantly impacted them and didn't go away and was something that they probably in some way, shape, or form were dealing with on a daily basis or devoting some sort of a percentage of their brains, right? We're focused on that. Having said that, though, I think that the thing about Dame, a lot of people, I saw some people argue, which by the way, you went full on John Wick and you said not today, right? And kept firing away at everybody who said something, which one was one of the most impressive and petty things I've seen. Like, it was like, listen, I got time and I got more time than you do. So let's get it, right? But all right, so here we go. Stella Rosa Trey.
Hey, you know what?
But the thing I'll make this point about Dame too, because some people were saying, well, Dame's an all-star starter. Great. Dame is this, okay. Okay, but listen, right, guys, I understand that. And nobody said Damian Lillard is not very good. What we said was we were expecting him to be as good as he was in Portland, right? Basically do what he's already been doing. We've also said that if you're watching games, he looks hesitant at times. He does this little weird thing where sometimes he'll attack and then he wants to dish it off, and then sometimes he'll attack, then he stops because he's like undecided. Do I shoot this? Do I try to pass it? What are we doing here? And listen, he's had some games where he's just flat out stunk it up. I mean, I'm surprised. Dame, you guys realize Dame has scored 30 points twice since January 14th? Like, that's not like, hang on, like this shouldn't really be a challenge, right? And he has got some awful, awful, awful shooting in the stretch, right? 9 for 23 against Sacramento, 7 for 20 against Cleveland, 4 for 15 from Detroit, 7 for 24 against Cleveland, 9 for 23 against. I mean, like, listen, like, guys, like, two things can be true. Is Damian Lillard a very good player? Yes. Has Damian Lillard been a very good player? 100%. Is Damian Lillard been the player that we've expecting to see when we traded him based off his past performance? No, right? Will he get there? It's possible. But I don't understand why people were so, I'm guessing it was either Portland bots or something, why people were so
a lot of them are Portland bots. Now, again, because there's a lot of people who a lot of them are like the people with the Dame as their profile picture because they got, so yes, there are a lot of like Dame, like people that are just solely Damian Lillard lovers, and bootlickers who, that's what they do, for lack of it, because they lick other things too, probably. But I'm gonna say boot tonight. I get a couple more, it might be something else, but they boot licking, but again, that's your favorite player, that's cool. But again, what my point was, he has to play better. And again, for the people who are saying, you just said you wanted to ship him out. No, I didn't. What I said was, if he continues to play like that, I will explore shipping him out. When he plays like he did tonight, and he taps into this mentality of figuring things out, no, this is like I think you're missing the point. This is what I want to see from Damian Lillard. That's what he needs to do on a consistent basis. And so tonight was one step in that, and we'll see how this continues to go. But my whole point is, I know he has it in him. Because he's not, I never thought, we just talked about this with Nathan Marzion. Never thought he was washed. We don't think he's washed. We think he's got to play better. He's got to play better. I don't think he's washed though. And it's crazy. So many people say he's washed. I don't think that. I just think he's uncomfortable for whatever reason. But my whole point is you can't have 12 excuses. I'm not talking about this one. I'm really talking about the other excuses. You can't have 15 excuses as to why you're not playing well. At some point, you have to play well.
Yeah,
I would 100% would agree with that.
this is where you were wrong, Trey. Is flooding my timeline while it was a great college basketball Saturday. I mean, I was just trying to just see what was going on in the college basketball world, and all I see is TCIIESQ, and he's just quote tweeting people or retweeting stuff, and I'm like, dang, I would really like to know what's going on in the Houston Kansas game right now. No, but anyway, yeah, I think people are just a little soft. I think people don't read that well, and JT hit it on the head. I think, yeah, you just expect more out of your superstar, and I think the comparison when you break it down like you did, and people actually read what you said, then I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, 100%. Not at all. So let me see. So people in the comments here, Dom White says people were taking it as you being unempathetic to the situation. Yeah, that wasn't really what I was trying to do. I mean, again, I am I do feel empathy towards what he's going through. It's just that again, this is a bottom line business. This is what I say. I'm empathetic towards Mike Budenholzer. He got fired like a week after his brother died. That's the NBA, dog. I don't know what y'all think this is. This is a bottom line business. This is a results oriented business. So I can be empathetic towards you and feel like I can feel all these type of ways, and feel sorry for you and give you that. But at the end of the day, you have to deliver, and there's nothing going away from that. And again, it's the league. It ain't me. They'll show you. They'll do. We just talking about Tony Snell, didn't we? We saw Tony Snell wanting it, and hey, man, you just sign him for. You got Charles Barkley. Just sign him 4 years so he can get his health care. And you know what? That deadline went and passed. He did not get signed because. Go ahead. Right. Gone.
And by any objective measure, Adrian Griffin did well. First year head coach, 30-13. Like, listen, like by any objective measure, Adrian Griffin did a decent job.
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing for the man. I'm just saying it is what it is, right? And look at what happened, which proves the point of what Trey says: results based business. Yeah, it is what it is. This is cutthroat. This is the league, right? And Damian Lillard, you get paid to play basketball. And again, I don't want to harp on this, but there's people. You're not going through anything unique. I'm just gonna say, I'm sorry, you're not going through anything. Okay, you moved away from your family. Okay, right, and you haven't seen the same gym, and you're a little hurt about how it went down with Portland because they wouldn't speak to you when you showed up to the practice facility after demanding a trade. You was in your feelings, right? Like you remember that. Y'all remember all these stories and how this stuff. Didn't your boy Chris Haynes wrote that article, right?
Right.
I get it. And I rock with Damian Lillard. I really do. But at the end of the day, you get paid to play basketball, right? And you're going through a divorce. You're missing your kids. I understand that. And all we asking for you to do is to be able to lock in for 48 minutes and consistently do what you've been doing for the last decade.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's what we're asking for. And tonight again was a great night. We saw it from him, 129-117. The Bucks beat the Mavericks. Again, despite the great performance from Luka Doncic, despite Maxi Kleber playing as well as he did, put up 21 points and going 4-7 from three, shooting 72% from the field. He did everything. The Bucks did everything they needed to do to figure out a way to win this basketball game behind the likes of Giannis and Damian Lillard. So again, just some really good stuff from the Bucks. Let's see. Let's go back to some comments here. John Hassel says that Griffin barely beat the Pistons. And Slayaway says, now I totally understand what the fans of teams that KD and LeBron are on have to deal with, the traveling stands. No, that's what this is. That's what this is.
100%.
Yes, it's 100% stands. That people they love their guys, and that's who they ride for and they die for. And you have to go with it. Rated R Nuke 414 says Luka be out there straight flopping all game. Great comeback win by the Bucks. Strong effort throughout. Awesome comeback win. Now let's go beat the hell out of the Jazz. At Adrian_K says Doc Rivers defensive adjustments and rotation adjustments, stuff I was not expecting. I didn't either, so that was good. Kashaya Taj says it's time. No more messing around. Giannis at the 5 and don't look back. This defense was scrambling and talking. They absolutely were. Offense had flow. They did. Giannis playing in the post and without a lane clogger. So again, a lot of people are taking this as Brook Lopez was kind of trash. So I'm not going that far either. And then at D White 4451 says Dallas was hot to start and the Bucks couldn't hit the bunnies. The offense was going to flip at some point, and it seems the defensive intensity from the Bucks got stronger. And then Bobby Porter Stan will die for him, says, speaking of Stan, says Giannis is the MVP. That's it. So again, just a lot of good comments there about the Bucks and what they saw tonight. A lot of positivity after a 129-117 victory. Man, I think we might be able to get out of here slightly early because I think we can move on to game balls if you want to.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's do some game balls. I'll go first. I want to give this to Giannis with 48, 10, and 6, the easy way to go. But I think I'm going to give my game ball tonight to Doc Rivers. First win as your head coach, 18th coach in Bucks history. Did a lot of good things. We talked about the adjustments already on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. And again, he did not let this team let go of the rope down 25. I appreciate what Doc Rivers does. And again, contrary to everybody thinking, so you're an Adrian Griffin. Listen, what I'm a fan of is winning. I don't care who you put in the head coach's spot. Like, I think so many people root. I think that's what we get with it. And I'm not immune to like wanting some agendas and pushing agendas and doing that type of thing because I do that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, I'd rather my agenda that I push be wrong and the Bucks win over any other result. So I'd rather Doc go all the way to the finals and look like the best coaches ever coached ever, and people to go, see, I told you, Adrian Griffin, what that is fine for me. Like that, because at the end of the day, I like the Milwaukee Bucks. I want to see them do well. I think some people look at it another way. They do this to prove points. But I don't. I want the Bucks to win, and tonight was a big win. So Doc Rivers getting a lot of flowers tonight for me. 129-117 gets his first win. What are you guys giving out game balls?
I'm going to give my game ball to Damian Lillard. I'm 100% going to give my game ball to Damian Lillard because obviously, again, Giannis is so good. When he does this, it's like, wow, Giannis is balling. But, I mean, it's just you just get used to it. You almost get immune to it. We are spoiled as Bucks fans with a guy as talented as Giannis. But I'm going to give it to Dame tonight because played a great second fiddle to Giannis. I mean, had a lot of really good plays. Even saw some defensive effort from Dame tonight. But, I mean, listen, you go 10 for 11, 5 for 5 and 3. You go 38 and 3. Hey, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. I'm 100% going to give it to Dame tonight. So, man, well-deserved, sir.
Got to give it to Giannis then. I just think that tonight when you have the mid-range jumper going, and you really should dominate those bigs down there, Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber, and he did that. I mean, everything was easy work, barbecue chicken down in the paint for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I think he did a great job tonight. On the defensive end as well, we saw him locking up. Like you said, they put him on Luka a little bit, and he did great. So obviously, it's Giannis for me.
So okay, there we go. Got Doc, got Dame, got Giannis. Knocked them all out there. Bucks winning 129-117. Let's look around the league. The Brooklyn Nets 136-121 victory over the 76ers. They are in free fall mode. Embiid has a torn meniscus. Remains to be seen whether or not let's stop there for 1 second. Remains to be seen on whether or not Joel Embiid is going to either rest and recover or if he's going to have surgery. I don't know that we know the exact severity of the torn meniscus, how bad it is. I feel like at least because there hasn't been a ton of information about it, leads me to believe it's probably a little bit worse than they'd like to see. I don't know. Did you see LeBron saying that people need to apologize for because if you remember, and we talked about this too, where Embiid sat out the Denver game, and then he came back and played that Monday. I can't remember who it was against, but he comes back and plays, it's a freak kind of incident because somebody like fell on his knee, going off their loose ball. But LeBron is like, you need to apologize because they as if somebody on TV, because it wasn't us, as if somebody on TV like forced Embiid to play. Y'all were talking about him. He had to play hurt. Look at him. Fool, if you hurt, sit down. And what are you like? Nobody forces you to play. Nobody made you play. You're a grown man. You can't play. You can't play. So that's on you. It's on him that he ain't played in Denver, and people accuse you of ducking. People get accused of a ton of things, and I'm going to accusations, but people get accused of a ton of things. They accused Embiid of ducking Denver. They accused Embiid of being a foul merchant. They accused Embiid. You know what? What he needs an apology from is his doctors for telling him that being on the floor and falling around all the time was somehow a safety measure for him. That's the craziest advice. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I don't know. I ain't never heard a person say that falling down is good for your health. I've never heard of it. But they apparently told Embiid that, and apparently that's why he likes to fall and apparently like distributes his weight into different areas. Well, that didn't work. So you need to fire your doctors, what you need to do. And Joel Embiid, I mean, again, it doesn't matter who the coach is. I know they went and got Nick Nurse, but they're in free fall right now. Another loss tonight. The Knicks are a game out of fourth. They're sitting in the fifth spot. I don't know how long Embiid is going to be out. Now, I will say when Embiid comes back, they will be a dangerous team, obviously, if they're in the back half of the standings. Like I said, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, right now, I mean, this Philly team, you can't trust them. And Maxey, we talked about it, going from a 3 to a 2. That's Maxey is flourished in that role. Maxey's not a 1, and you're going to see a lot of losses like this for Philly, I believe, start to pile up and add up as Embiid continues to rest and be out due to injury.
Well, keep in mind, Embiid tore that meniscus in 2017 as well, in that same leg, he tore his left meniscus in 2017 as well. So keep in mind, this is not new. And you do have to wonder as well, at what point do the injuries start to take a toll on Joel Embiid, especially when you start thinking about ankle, knee, and hip injuries, stuff that'll completely zap your explosion as a player, and stuff that'll really, really, really hinder your mobility and your way to move. And you combine age there. You just have to start to wonder, at what point does this take a toll on Embiid, especially now that you're tearing that meniscus in the same knee. This is not good. This is not good at all. And I do agree with you. I don't understand the LeBron James apology, but sometimes LeBron's been doing too much. He just say anything and think about it later.
Certainly not great for the 76ers. And this has been their problem has always been that they don't have the right depth around Joel Embiid, and it's just going to continue to prove that that's the truth. And like that team without Embiid got blown out by the Trailblazers. Now we lost to them too, but their team is not good without him. So it is a tough blow for Philly fans. But hopefully, just hopefully he's healthy, because the league is better when he is healthy. The league is a little bit more competitive. So yeah, hopefully he gets healthy. That just sucks for a player like that. That's like our Giannis going down like that. So, except Giannis can actually get out of the second round. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, but the issue with Embiid is it happens to him all the time. And so, he's always hurt. And again, at some point, what's the definition of insanity, JT?
Man, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result.
Why do you think this year is going to be different for the 76ers? Why did anybody think you thought he was going to be healthy all year this year? Everybody thought people that's when all this Nick Nurse talk to me. I was saying this early in the season. Why would they go as Embiid goes, and if Embiid is hurt, they're gonna be hurt. It's just like the Anthony Davis stuff. We've done this. We've talked about this before. It's just he's hurt every year. What is going to be different? Did he do something different in the offseason? Did he train differently? If you didn't, you're gonna be hurt again.
He falls all the time.
I agree. And to your point, Chris, hey, let me work on my empathy. I am sad that Embiid is out, and hopefully he recovers quickly.
Hey, listen, man. Let me tell you something, man.
You can't even say that without smiling.
In a lot of situations, empathy is a useless trait. I'm just gonna tell y'all that. Listen, right? In a lot of situations, right? Not all the time. Sometimes you do have to be empathetic, but guys, what is it? A sensitive bunch, I guess. But yeah, a lot of times it's a useless trait. So is guilt. I'm just gonna tell y'all that too.
Best ability is availability. That's all I gotta say.
Right.
And it's been a consistent trend for the Philadelphia 76ers, so can't say I'm surprised necessarily. So,
nope. 60-point night for Steph Curry. He put up 60, and wow, the Warriors still lost 141-134 to the Atlanta Hawks. Team was just Another team in free fall. The Warriors are 21-25 on the year. The Kings beat the Bulls tonight. Zach LaVine is out until I'm sorry, he's gonna be out to the All-Star after All-Star or something like that.
I think
I thought
6 months. Is it about 6
season
months?
ending. Yeah, season ending
He's
surgery.
season. Oh, you're right.
He's done.
Season ending. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, they told him, hey, the Pistons was talking about trading for him. He said, yeah, no, you're not. I'm out of here. See y'all. Cleveland beats the Spurs, and the Lakers, they get a big win, getting back over 500, beating the Knicks. So that's a pretty big win, and will also propel. Doc Rivers will be coaching, and the Milwaukee Bucks coaching staff will coach the All-Star game this year. And so actually, I don't know if you heard this. Doc Rivers is going to give. So when you make the All-Star game, you coach the All-Star game, you get a ring for that year. Doc Rivers is giving Adrian Griffin the All-Star ring that he was going to get. So a lot of respect from Doc for doing that for Adrian Griffin, because I mean, you think about it, the Bucks basically got this right. This Doc's only won one game with the Bucks for so far. So Adrian, in large part to the job that Adrian Griffin did throughout the season. That the Bucks are in second place, and of course the reason the Bucks are coaching staff is going to be at the All-Star game is due to Joe Mazzulla having done it last year, and the Boston having the best record last year. At this point in time, you can't do it. Rules, you can't do it 2 years in a row. So being second place, the Bucks take that honor. And again, that's really good. It's funny. I listened to Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine, and sometimes in the mornings on. I listen to those guys. I listen to those guys in the mornings sometimes on NBA radio. And so it's funny. They were like, "Do you think Doc's gonna give it to?" Because who's in third place right now? I don't know. Whoever. You know what? Doc's probably just gonna give it to whoever's in third place. I was like, why? Why would he do that? Like, why would? And that was just the craziest thing to me. But it's like, I understand it from Doc's perspective, and that's why, you give the ring to Adrian Griffin or whatever. But like, the rest of the Bucks coaching staff, Joe Prunty, Mutombo, Oppenheimer, Vin Baker, those guys, why wouldn't they deserve to be at the All-Star game? They worked on staff all year with Adrian Griffin. Like, you wouldn't just pass that up. So no, he had guys on staff who absolutely earned the right to go to Indiana. I don't know if that's where you want to go, but go to Indiana and represent the Bucks, and represent, be that coaching staff, appear and participate in the festivities that is All-Star Weekend. No, they 100% earned that right, and I'm glad Doc went ahead and took it and didn't pass that on to JB Bickerstaff, is his name, in Cleveland, so they could do it. No, he absolutely earned. The Bucks earned that right. They are the second seed in the East right now, 33-16, on a 67% win clip. 4 games back from the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, kudos to the Bucks, kudos to the staff, kudos to Doc Rivers for leading the Bucks coaching staff at the All-Star game. Agreed.
And I like the class that Doc is having in handling all this. And I mean, he knows, like, listen, this is Adrian Griffin's work at this point, right? Like, so you can't just come in and act like. Now, here's my question though: is he donating the check?
See, I don't know. I don't know what check. I heard about the ring. I don't know anything about anything else.
I'm sure they get. I'm sure they get paid.
Yeah,
I'm sure they get paid.
Yeah, you're absolutely. Yeah, you're probably is. There probably is some type of check.
Yeah, he should give it to AG. What's wrong with Indiana, Trey? why Indiana catching strays? Why Indianapolis not higher on your radar?
Oh, I forgot you. Well, man. I've been to Indiana a couple. Matter of fact, I will say I've been to Indianapolis. I've been in Naptown a couple times. It's actually not a bad place. Now, here's why. Because I'm not trying to hate on Indiana or Indianapolis, but because it's February, and February in the Midwest is not the move. But that's my only issue. Other than that, it's great. It's like kind of like Milwaukee, or where they just do it. They did it in Cleveland. It's like,
I'm only Cleveland. 2 hours away, so it's basically like where I'm at.
Well, I forgot you're from Ohio too. Yeah. Cleveland's a terrible city.
Oh, I've never been there. That's a whole different state to me. That's 3 hours away. I'm down south. I'm actually closer to Indianapolis, so it's actually warming up. I don't know if towards the All-Star break it's about 50 degrees, gray. Maybe the sun will come out a little bit. It's not bad.
I wouldn't go to Cleveland if I knew the way.
Yeah, me neither. I'm from Ohio. I'd live in Ohio. Nah, I wouldn't either.
I mean, there's a few spots. Detroit's trash too.
Detroit's trash, and I've been to Detroit. Detroit is
trash.
Trash.
Minnesota isn't
been there.
anything to brag about.
Now
even
I
in
will
Minneapolis.
say Minneapolis. Now I will
I heard
say
that's
one of the
nice.
cool things. It is nice. Like one of the cool things about Minneapolis is they have the skywalk system. Like
Little
Milwaukee
tunnels or whatever.
Skywalk,
Yeah,
but their tunnel is like very advanced. Like you can literally walk around in the. It's not just a few buildings. You can walk around the
the
entire
whole
city.
city.
Yeah, Minneapolis they did a great job with the infrastructure there on figuring out how to do that. So I give them some credit.
But cold though.
And
it's cold.
It's cold.
Next level cold in Minneapolis. I'm good.
For Dom White came into chat and said that he is giving the check. Report from Mark Stein. He's giving the ring and the check. So yeah, that's a very good gesture from Doc Rivers. The Heart 96 says Giannis, Dame, and Doc had legacy games. Hope the energy continues. Yeah, we absolutely want to see that as well. So I don't have anything else. I don't know. Did you guys want to? I mean, we talked about the Tony Snell thing. Did you any thoughts on Tony Snell? And I don't think we talked about it on here, but the fact that Tony Snell wanted to get he needed an extra year to get insurance. And he's on the G League affiliate right now with the Maine, whatever the team is in Maine, the Boston Celtics affiliate. And he needed another year of tenure to get because he actually, that was the thing I just found out. He has health insurance. He has health insurance. He just wants the premium level of health insurance that would be afforded to him if he gets his 10th year of service in the NBA. And he needed to be signed by a team like as of I think like Friday or whatever it was. That did not happen for him. Again, he has two sons that are autistic. He's also autistic himself. But then, of course, the backlash was they found his, what happens? You start asking for money. They found his wife on Instagram. She running around with Birkin bags in a private plane. And, of course, he's made $53 million throughout his career. And so, again, I show some empathy. Again, the autism thing, it's very tough. On the flip side of it, there are people who deal with this every single day of their lives who have autism, who have autistic kids. This is not some issue that is, specific to Tony Snell. And again, the majority of people who do have autistic children or any type of disease, neurological disease or whatever, neurological issue, whatever, most of those parents have not made and will not ever make $53 million. Forget in the span of a 9-year NBA career, but in their life they won't see $53 million or touch $53 million gross or net. So again, there's just a lot of issues I thought with that, and again, you just open yourself up to scrutiny. Not that I let me say whether I care or not that some team would put him on and let him get. I absolutely hope he finds his way onto a roster and gets onto a roster. I'd love to see that for him, especially if that's a goal of his. But you just open yourself up to scrutiny when you sit down for a feature-length article and talk about how crucial the need is for you to get this health care. And when, like I said, you already have health care, you just need a premium level of it. I don't know. It didn't give. We talked about it, JT, when I'm walking out the store and the homeless person is sitting there and they need my $1, I'm gonna need you to look homeless. Like, that's all. I'm not, I don't mind giving it, but you gotta look like you need it. I'm not just handing it out because you short that day. Like, you gotta look like you need it. That's all. And I think that's kind of what this, the vibe is. You seen Trading Places before?
I've seen Trading Places, man. That's the prequel to Coming to America.
Yeah, you remember when Buddy was when he was homeless and he was acting like he had no legs and he got up and walked away.
Yeah.
Police got man. Officer, man, I suggest a nice stick. Yeah, good.
No, I agree to an extent, right? I think the thing is that people. So I had a couple questions on this, right? This Tony Snell thing, it comes out now that he needed a 10-day contract and had to be on for the rest of the season. And I think that's probably more wasn't it right? He needed a 10-day contract. He needed
the full. He needed to be signed. 10-day contract wouldn't work. He needed to be signed throughout the rest of the year.
And that I just, again, what we talk about, this is a results-based league. I love the sympathy, love the empathy, wholeheartedly do. But listen, I'm not sure to do the right thing. Teams, yes, there are some teams that are out of it and have absolutely no chance. And I'm assuming you could do that, right? But I'm sure those teams would argue, well, wait a minute, we got guys we want to evaluate. There's only X amount of rosters. We got younger guys that we're trying to do. We got G League guys we're bringing up. We're pushing people down. Like, this don't help us, right? Especially if they don't think Tony can help them at this point. Because I think Tony plays for the main G League team or something.
Mm-hmm.
But That's the first. But here's the second question I have: why can't the NBA just make an exception for this man? I'm 100% sure there's a process where you could do that. You could make an. I don't see why you can't try to go through the process to make an exception. Like if it's that serious, like I don't. What is the issue?
Man, you know the policy procedure. You make an exception for one, how he get the exception? I don't make no sense to me.
Right.
Listen,
All
listen,
right, well he was
Everybody's
1
gonna
year
get it.
away. I'm just 2 years away. I got 8 years. Why I can't get an exception?
I mean, I hear you, but what I'm saying is okay. But you should still have a, because we talk about policies and procedures. You should still have a procedure for submitting an exception. You should probably give them a right to be heard and have a hearing, right, and to have it go about it that way. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not necessarily saying like you grant it or not, but give him a chance. Like, okay, fine, give him a chance to appeal, right? Give him a chance to get his hearing and try to petition the league for an exception. Like, there's got to be a different way to do it versus being signed and being on this team for all the rest of the season. If you need that, like, look, get a man an opportunity to be heard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll be quick on this. I think taking a spot of a young guy that is in the G League fighting constantly to try to get back on a roster, I just don't think that's the move. And I also think that an exception would be cool, but like Trey said, I agree. Everybody's going to want that exception no matter how far they're away, as long as it's remotely close. So, I just don't see it happening. But I will say also credit to Tony Snell for grinding out basketball in the G League for the Maine Red Claws or whatever it is, because that just shows that he loves the game. That's cool. I like that.
True.
Hey, now, on the same note, though, I will say this. Trey had a point. Trey said he doesn't like where people are. He doesn't like it when homeless people don't look homeless, and he feels kind of scammed here. And that goes to the point. You remember that girl, the woman Alyssa Milano? She was trying to raise $10,000 for her kids' baseball team to go to a tournament, and people said, "Wait, her net worth is somewhere between $10 to $15 million, and she didn't even donate to the GoFundMe that she posted to support her kids." So she was playing. Everybody was like, "Listen, right?" And so. The problem with Tony Snell, I think at this point, though, you're right about his wife. 12 Birkin bags. Y'all know how much a Birkin bag is? It's crazy expensive. You're not going to get the most sweated up of Birkin bags is not going to be less than 10 bands. It's not going to happen. The Birkin bands are crazy expensive. So it is a bad look when she's on the private jets with all these bags and doing this and this, because people feel like you don't need this. You don't need the league to give you this health care. Like you can pay for it. Right. You can make sure they get the premium healthcare.
Yeah, 100%. King of King is upset. He says he's from Detroit. Chill. And he says, "How y'all Midwest boys clowning the city of Detroit?"
I'm the only real Midwest from the Midwest.
I'm not from the Midwest. I'm from the South, man.
But I will say that
I'm from DC, but
the Detroit
I did live in Milwaukee
music,
for like 10 years.
The Detroit rap music, that's what I'm tuned into. I'm tapped into Detroit, Sada Baby, Skilla Baby, all those guys. Yeah. I'm tapped in Jug Harden, all them boys. So I love it. I love the music culture there. I haven't been, probably won't be, but
hey, King of King, I'm stamped, man. I went to Nicky's King of King after the Bucks beat the Detroit Pistons. When I did the sweep, when they swept the Pistons, I think that was in 2018 or 19, whatever it was. I went to Nicky's, so you know what I'm talking about. You've probably been there. So I'm stamped in the city of Detroit. Detroit basketball. Hey, I'm with it, all of it. Love the Pistons. And that's some great teams back in the day too. All right, let's wrap this thing up, man. Wow, really good show. Appreciate everybody for listening, tuning in, watching the entire thing. You guys make what we do fun. We appreciate all the likes, subscribes, all the likes, all the comments, all the subscriptions. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the Cream City crossover. Any final thoughts after the Bucks win it 129-117 over the Dallas Mavericks tonight?
Back at it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Go get DeAndre Hunter. I saw that popped up in my Twitter feed. Outside of all the Trey tweets of back and forth. I like that a lot. I think that could really benefit this team. Saw him play at Virginia, seen him play throughout the league. He's a really good player, really good defender, and reliable shot maker. I think he would be great for this Bucks team.
He is good. I like him too. I would definitely be a guy.
Maybe less than DeJounte Murray, what they would be asking. So
100%. Yeah, the Bucks are tapped in and looking. Maybe we will revisit some trade talk before the deadline at some point. We might do a show for you guys right before the deadline or right after the deadline. Do something like that. King says, "Yes, sir. Yeah, I know you know about Nickies." Like JT said, the Bucks are back at it. This is not a must-win game, but it's on a back-to-back. This would be a huge win tomorrow night. Well, it's midnight already on the East Coast. They play at 7 p.m. Central tomorrow night against the Utah Jazz. Man, I really think because again the Jazz came out and flat out embarrassed them the other night, a couple weeks ago, whenever that was. So I think this will just be huge if the Bucks will come out on a back-to-back after beating the Dallas Mavericks and beat the Utah Jazz. They're not like some world beaters. Go ahead and get your face back. They don't shoot threes like they shot them. Go do that and get a win. I'd love to see it. Again, appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We'd like to thank our sponsors, the law office of Daley M. Johnson. When you need defense off the court, you can call him at 608-893-8370.
7-0.
There we go. And get in touch with him there. Get all your needs met from criminal defense, traffic, OWI, temporary restraining orders, and injunctions. That's the law office of Daley M. Johnson. Don't forget, this has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
Chris King.
Don't take no wood nickels. We'll see you back here tomorrow, same time,